be part of that group. That would be my assumption.
Whether you like it or not, Gio Reyna is going to be around a lot longer in the US setup than the manager. I find it very difficult to believe that those were the actual words that he said. I can understand
Berhalter on Reyna early doors.
Yeah, I don't understand any manager, and even if you're a young manager, you still got to figure out, if you're telling any player, never mind one of your better players, that you're not going to be playing much, you're going to lose them. I mean, that doesn't take a lot of working out. And I'm only going to guess here, but I'm going to figure out that Gio Reyna, when he's taken aside by Berhalter, there's a conversation before he comes out with these words, and his kid's head's gone, and he's stopped listening properly.
Right.
Because I just, and I'm not saying Gio's making it up, I don't mean that at all, but when you've got young players and you're giving them bad news, you can see it in their eyes where they're not quite taking everything in, and they're certainly probably not understanding what you're saying. So I'm going to suggest that's happened, because I find it impossible, as I said. The A manager, before a World Cup tournament, with arguably your best player, is going to turn around and say that. It's
the question
ludicrous.
I have then, however it may have been filtered, however much the red mist just descended once he knew that it wasn't going to start, say, for example, against Wales, this all happened before a friendly match. Why say anything? Why even open that door? Why not let the friendly match take place and see what happens?
Well, again, we don't know, because none of it makes any sense. Right. It doesn't make sense. I mean, again, it doesn't make sense, because if you haven't decided whether Gio Reyna is going to be part of your plans or not, then if he turns around in this friendly and scores a hat-trick in the first 45 minutes, then all of a sudden you're going to go, you know what, maybe I need to rethink this. So it doesn't make any sense to say before the friendly.
Yes.
And again, it doesn't make any sense to say it before the day after, before the game against Wales. So there's so much of this that makes no sense from a coaching point of view at all. None of it.
And yet, if you go back to the very first game and the very first press conference post the Wales match, the conversation about Gio Reyna took a weird turn.
Yeah.
And that whole idea of why was Gio Reyna not involved? Well, he was carrying an injury, or there was some tightness, or whatever the term was used. And then Gio Reyna on his own said, I'm good to go.
Right.
You knew right then and there that there was something here. There was something that had been mishandled, something that hadn't been communicated correctly and directly, something that was going to bubble and that was going to simmer. And eventually, somebody was going to say something. It would have been in the best interest of everybody involved if this thing was kept between Gregg Berhalter and Gio Reyna. And it was not. And once it comes out, it takes a whole life of its own. And now we're in a position where we can discuss it. And if indeed this is the sort of information that Gregg Berhalter is giving Gio Reyna, and again, I cannot stress this enough, this is one of your best players. This is a guy who could potentially make a difference between you winning and losing, who could potentially make the difference between you advancing, not advancing, who could make a difference for you.